This is Maginoni, and here's another edition of the good, the bad, and the disappointing. Today's good is the Infinity crossover, Avengers number 23. Now, my disclaimer with this is this probably isn't the best book of the week, but I think this was the safest book of the week in the sense there's another book which I thought was like an average read until the very end, and that very end is going to get very controversial. There's also Uncanny X-Men, which is actually a really good read too, but I think this Infinity really hit in terms of action and um, really started to move the plot forward a little bit. Now, what we have here is the Avengers. They're basically stuck because they have to break through the blockade, and then this is where they split up a little bit. You have a group of Guardians of the Galaxy going in, and they're supposed to destroy the blockade part from the inside. Um, then, well, because this team is being really slow at getting the job done, they send in another team, which is like Black Widow and Master of Kung Fu and a couple other guys, and they actually meet Thanos' general, and things just don't go well at all for this team. So they have to get some reinforcements, and lucky for them, everybody's busy fighting the good fight, and you get Ronan, Super Skrull, Gladiator, and Annihilus appear, and this fight was really, really strong. It was really honestly way too short, but it really makes Ronan shine a lot. Now, the thing that I don't think they really show well enough is during the space battle. There's apparently heavy losses, but you never really see the heavy losses. Everything is just implied that, hey, we're getting beat up pretty bad. But, there's not a lot of pages. I think to really have made this a better book, they should have double-sized it or something like that. Other than that, the art, I think, was really good. I mean, Yu's really starting to get a lot better, I think, and especially if you compare it to his older work. And, this is a great combination right here. And I'm overall, I've been very pleased with Infinity and the direction it's been going. And maybe I'm not too appreciative of all of the many side stories, but at least the core title I thought was so far has been pretty good. And this, if anything, is just moving that along. Other than this person's not in it. Okay, the bad. Ultimate Comics Cataclysm Ultimate. Horrible, just horrible. Basically, it's a jumbled mess. It's got horrible art, and it's extremely chaotic. And I understand it's supposed to be chaotic. Okay, I get that part. But to me, what this really looks like is if you took a jar. Okay, on one end you had fire ants, on the other end you had a scorpion, and then you shook them up, and both of them are really, all these ants and scorpion are angry, and then as they're battling, you threw a fireball in there, and that's what you kind of get right here. It's just a mess. And basically what's going on is the cult of Galactus is taking over this one country, and S.H.I.E.L.D. has to go in, and as you can see, there's just explosions and chaos everywhere. You can't really fight the people because they're not really in control, but yet if you don't fight them, you're going to get killed, and I'm really sick and tired of that nonsense. So, to the villain's credit, they go, well, don't worry, we know what's going to happen as they're leaving, and, anytime S.H.I.E.L.D. can't handle something, they drop the Hulk bomb, and they do, and the Hulk bomb only makes matters worse. What they really should have done in this case is they should have left and dropped a nuke and nuked everybody. That would have solved the problem. But, I guess they're in the business of saving some lives other than taking some hits on them and then hope for the best. But overall, I'm not really happy. This is, it's one of these things that I just wish Bendis had more of a guidance and he had more of a control and they had better writers, better artists on these side issues, because you really can tell the difference between a Bendis Cataclysm book versus any of the other books. The other books are just a jumbled mess, and it's a shame. The disappointing. The disappointing is Rogue's Rebellion. The Rage of Parasite. Now, why is this a disappointment? It's simple. Basically what happens is they assume that you never read Forever Evil, because they dedicate a whole bunch of pages to the battle that occurred in Forever Evil. And then the one thing I will say they did good was, in Forever Evil you saw Captain Cold's side of things. In this you get to see what happens to the rogues. So that part was good. But then you go, well, alright, there's this huge bounty on their head, and they meet this guy Archer, and they take him out really quick. But the thing is, he's just the setup for Parasite. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if there's a substantial bounty, why is there just Parasite? Why isn't there like 10 other supervillains just ready to pounce on these guys? Why are they taking turns? You know, it's like ridiculous. Then they escape, and where do they escape to? They escape to Arkham, and now we get to see Poison Ivy. And then I'm thinking to myself, these are different storylines. Why don't you make them unique so this way we get to see different parts of the DC universe rather than overlapping things? You know, and I guess they're going to have some sort of influence in the Arkham War, but at the same time I'm going, why do you have to do that? This is an Arkham problem. Let Arkham villains deal with it. Get the rogues out of here. Shouldn't be here. And then I'm already just disappointed. And in all honesty, if I had to cut books as of today, this would be one book I would cut, and this would be the second book I would cut, because this is just these. Sometimes I just don't know what these guys are doing. Anyways, let's get you some codes. Here is the Avengers code. You know, I don't think anybody's gonna argue that this book was a solid read. I don't think so. If they do, they're like high or something, or it's the first comic book they've ever read. Alright, anyways, that's the good, the bad, the disappointing. I'll have some more reviews for you later, so until next time.